Hey everybody, welcome to Local Business Hacks Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Case, and I'm on a mission to help you. Every week, we're going to be talking to local business owners and experts to get their best tips, tricks, and hacks to grow your business. This show is designed to teach you, inspire you, and motivate you to take massive action and start to build your future-proof business. Whether you're just starting off or you're taking your existing business to the next level, this episode is for you. So let's get started. Hey, local business hackers. I'm your host, Director of Global Business Dev at Referrizer, joined today by a super special badass woman that I got to see on stage recently, shaking the crowd, Kristen Pechacek, Chief Growth Officer from MassageLuXe. Kristen, welcome to Local Business Hacks.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited for this chat. Let's dive in and have some fun.
Hell yeah. All right, Kristen, I know you're a badass. Tell the world, in your opinion, why you are and how you got to this point in your career.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I've had a fun career working with some awesome brands. Started in the NFL working on the franchisee side. The NFL, obviously a franchise, but I don't think our franchise minds wrap our heads around the fact that it is an actual franchise. So I worked with the Minnesota Vikings for a lot of years, helping them with their digital and social strategy stand-up. Back when, Carl, you can believe it or maybe not, you needed a college email address to get on Facebook. Remember those days?
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. I was actually just talking with some of my girlfriends about like the Nokia brick phone and how great we all were at Snake and T9 back in the day. But yeah, super fun to kind of launch that with them, and then fell in love with the franchisor side of the business and moved on over to Self Esteem Brands. A really cool platform brand with some great brands that make up that platform. Anytime Fitness is their largest with 5,000 locations in 41 countries. And it was really cool for me to see, what does that mammoth brand look like, right? With thousands of franchisees and some that a lot of them that don't even speak your language. So really cool experience there. But while I was there, I really fell in love with the emerging brand space. A part of that platform was Waxing the City with about 100 locations, Basecamp Fitness, smaller brand, just starting franchising, and then the Bar Method were all acquired during my time there. So super cool to see what it takes to get a brand off the ground and in the franchise space, but then also balance that with what it should look like when you have thousands and thousands of locations. And so when the opportunity at MassageLuXe came across my desk to join a brand that was going to pass 100 units, that was in the health and wellness space, in the membership reoccurring model, it was a no-brainer for me to head on over there. And like I said, they're passing 100 units actually early this next year in 2024, which is great. Yes. Yeah. So it's been a fabulous journey over the last 3.5 years or so with them. There, I'm a chief growth officer. It's a blended role that I love. I oversee franchise consumer marketing as well as franchise development growth. So it's been really cool. The brand is really smart in the way that they structure the role, although I'm a little biased. I think it's smart because the whole thing about this role is that happy and profitable franchisees sell more franchises. And so my role enables oversight into marketing and consumer demand generation. And if that goes well, guess what? They want to open more. And that leads right into the franchise development side of the business. So it's been really cool.
That's awesome. I've had so many CMOs and CROs and CEOs on this show, but I've never heard of somebody having a hybrid role like you. And I love it because it's interesting how I've gotten my hands on other massage brands and other wellness brands, how distanced the actual marketing in the franchise world is and the franchise dev world. And it's literally two separate departments. So I love that you guys have married that into you heading up that chief growth officer role. It's awesome.
Yeah. And ops is very closely connected too. I mean, every single morning at MassageLuXe, the operators, Mark, the CEO, myself, we sit down in a room and we talk about what's happening inside the spas, which I think is so important as a franchisor. We're really trying to not be disconnected or siloed across departments, but most importantly, between us and the franchisee. It's super important to keep as close as we can departmentally and with the people who've invested their life savings or, their inheritance or whatever that might be into our brand.
Well, funny story. MassageLuXe was actually my first membership ever. Before Orange Theory, there's a MassageLuXe that's in Fort Lauderdale that's been around for a long time. And I will say, even though I support other brands like Elements Massage and Massage Envy, there is definitely a vibe that is incomparable going on at MassageLuXe. So, with that being said, tell us about the brand. How can people get involved? Give us some goods.
Yeah, so MassageLuXe is a membership-based massage and facial spa. It's everything that's great about opening a gym without the attrition that a gym or a fitness concept sees. That's how I always say it because I come from the fitness industry. What's great about our membership model is, hey, listen, you miss using MassageLuXe in a month, that's totally okay. What you paid for carries over to the next month. If you don't use it, you don't lose it. You get 2 massages the next month, or a massage or a facial the next month. Super important to be able to get what you paid for. And because of that, people don't leave MassageLuXe. We don't have long-term contracts, enrollment fees. Ew, we've all dealt with that cell phone provider or that cable provider that makes breaking up with them and signing up with them as hectic and painful as possible. And so we want it to be easy for our clients to better their health and wellness. We are a health and wellness brand, but we want it to feel luxury as well. And things like our Luxe Lounge that you can sit in and relax before your service, or our HydroLuxe table, which is a dry water massage bed you can use at no cost before or after your service. That's really the delta between just a normal clinical experience at a massage studio or a massage spa that MassageLuXe is.
Hell yeah. I think you definitely hit it on the head. It's wild. We pulled across our tens of thousands of customers last year. How many people have other memberships than just their typical fitness membership at a big box gym? And it was wild. The number was 4. People are spending about $700 a month on health, wellness, and beauty reoccurring charges. To think about the first time that you go to a gym or a massage studio or anything, about this feels like a less intense marriage. And I want to see the prenup right now. And I want to see what the divorce would look like and who's representing you, is not something that us as consumers want to go through. But now memberships have been really apparent for over 20 years. So it's wonderful to hear. And it was great for me to experience hands-on of not having to think about those things and almost feeling forced to use the membership because that massage could be going away or something like that. So that's awesome. I'm glad you're spreading like wildfire. And for those of you that haven't experienced MassageLuXe, head to massageluxe.com.
Yep.
And if you love it that much, I'm sure that Kristen's team would love to speak to you about opening your own MassageLuXe too.
Absolutely. A lot of our MassageLuXe locations are opened by clients who have experienced us, fell in love, and decided that they wanted to do this as well, whether that be while keeping their current role wherever they're at, adding to a business portfolio, or sliding in and doing this full time. Our model is super flexible with what you want for your life. And I always say it's like one thing to make a profit when you're running a business, right? We're all in it for the profit. But if you can make a difference in your community through spreading health and wellness, that makes those profits so much sweeter.
Amen, sister. Amen. All right, let's get down to the exciting things. Not that wasn't exciting and your journey's not exciting, but more importantly, the premise behind this show is your local business hacks. So let's hear from you. I know you got some great ones. What are these stories that shaped your hacks?
Yeah, so I've got 4 for you. And I might even drop some more knowledge bombs. I'm not going to talk your ear off, but 4 things that I would classify as pivotal moments in my career where I've went, holy shit, that's a good nugget to have, and I need to pivot based on that. And the first was early on in my career. I was asked to put together a strategy, and I wish I knew what it was for. Probably social media, right? Because that's kind of where I started my career. It's like, put together a strategy to help fans engage and increase your blah, 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 right? And I go back to my desk and I was like, And I went, I majored in business. I went to business school, right? Like, what the hell is a strategy?
And
How
this
do
is
I even be?
pre-Chat GPT days too.
Yeah, barely Google. What the hell is a strategy? How do I even begin on this journey to put together this strategy that's supposed to revolutionize the marketing department within, the Minnesota Vikings? And so I went back to my boss and I said, I was like, can you give me some thought starters here? Like, what am I supposed to be thinking about? What does this look like? Is it a deck? Is it a Word document? Is it a picture that I draw on a whiteboard? Like, what is the deliverable here? And I got so caught up in what it was supposed to look like and include. And she looked at me and she said, Kristen, a strategy is just a plan. It's just a plan. And I was like, what? I'm a master planner. I can plan anything all day long. I didn't realize that a strategy was just a plan. And then I went down this like self-discovery journey where I was like, you know what? Everything's a strategy and everything's a plan. And some plans work and some plans don't work. But what you do is you take the best data that you have and your learned experiences and input from others, and you just kind of shoot and you go. And if it fails, you work around a new way to do it. And so I think people mystify a little bit in business. They certainly do in the marketing sector. It's like, ooh, there's this big thing that you don't know about, and maybe it's right and maybe it's wrong. But here's the reality is we're not in accounting as marketers. There's no right or wrong. I once had an accountant say to me that the best part about her job is that there's only a right and there's only a wrong. And I'm like, oh my God, that's really smart. There is only a right or a wrong way to do accounting. I mean, it's pretty like straightforward. But in other areas of business, there's no right or no wrong. There's only more right or more wrong, right? And so don't mystify whatever you have in front of you and don't mystify what you've done in the past. Just make the plan. That's my first knowledge bomb.
I have a little nugget to that. And
Yes.
I've been completely organic for a long time. I was vegan for a while. And now in the grocery stores, for those of you that don't know what pasteurization is, it's when they heat up something to like 1500 degrees and kill all the good and bad things in it. So it still tastes the same, but it really lacks the ingredients. And now these genius marketers who are not necessarily doing things wrong, but not necessarily doing things right, are saying it's lightly pasteurized or ultra pasteurized or slowly pasteurized. And it's like, it's wild to just see how the marketing creativity minds have exploded in that space. Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, no, I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, it's master marketers, a little bit of wordsmithing here, a little bit of wordsmithing there, and we get you to buy.
Amen.
So speaking of marketing, which, I've spent the large majority of my career in, and also franchising, I had this other kind of pivotal moment where I was talking with a franchisee about how they could do local marketing in their market. And anybody who's been in franchise marketing knows that the number one most frustrating thing about franchise marketing is getting your franchisees to actually market their business, right? And for us as marketers, it's like, duh, you don't open a business and not market it. How could you not do that, right? And we love marketing. So how can you not love marketing too? Because it's the best thing ever. And this franchisee said, I didn't get into this business to do marketing. I didn't get into this business to do marketing. I'm like, why'd you get in it then? And the answer, to run a business. There's so many other things that go into running a local business outside of marketing. And while I'll argue, like, too bad, so sad, you're going to need to market, it also was a little bit of an eye opener for me in that marketing is not everybody's jam. It's not everybody's go-to thing, and it doesn't come naturally. And so now when planning marketing activities for my lovely franchisees to do, I try to challenge the team or myself in saying, hey, is this something that I could do for them without compromising the local feel of their business? If I can't do it for them because it's a great social media post about their staff or an event happening in their community or whatever that might be, then I need to give them the playbook to be able to do this as quickly and easily as possible. Foolproof, easy to copy. And in the instances where I can do it for them, I'm going to do it for them. I'm going to take as much as I can away from them. They can peel it back if they want to do it. We have former CMOs who own franchises. They're doing all the things. But the point is that they shouldn't have to do all the things. You need to provide the playbook in order for them to operate within.
I think that's obviously incredible advice. And for those of you that are planning to open a business and don't have a marketing budget, it'd be great to hang a sign, but it'd be even better to swipe somebody's credit card or get paid. And in order to do that, people need to know who you are. So at least 10% is the number that I say to invest back into your business, but have a little bit of a bigger budget to open up your doors for the first time. And unfortunately, we're about to be in 2024 and it doesn't work anymore to just hang a sign and make a Facebook post that you're open. So use your feet, grassroots marketing, and yeah, listen to Kristen's
Yeah,
playbook.
exactly. If you build it, they won't necessarily come. You got to tell them that you built it, right? And the way that you tell them that you built it, it varies by market, which is kind of my third, like, oh my God, is, as a marketer of a national brand, you sometimes think, well, it's rinse and repeat. That's the best thing about franchise marketing is we hear and learn over here and we do that over here and it works really well and it's all scalable and friendly. And in some cases that works, it works. But in many cases, it doesn't work. Markets and the people who make up the markets are different. And one of the ways that I learned this was opening a franchise location, not a MassageLuXe, different franchise in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'll never forget it. And we did digital ads because that's what everybody does, right? You open a business, you put some stuff out on Facebook and Google search, and you watch the money come in. But my friends, the money didn't come in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You want to know why? Because in Albuquerque, you need to have a billboard. That's how you sell in Albuquerque. And no one told me that you need to have a billboard in Albuquerque. I didn't know. I've never even been to Albuquerque, but apparently that's something that really matters there. And as soon as we put up that billboard, the sales started coming in.
Wow.
But I never would have known without getting to know that local market. And in most cases, the franchisees who are opening locations in the market or the business owner who's operating within the market is the one to tell you about that market. So you need to listen to them. While we all love the rinse and repeat because it's scalable and quick and cheap, in some cases, it's not the best answer for those local markets.
Yeah, and I think to your point also, Kristen, that even if you're in like the Twin Cities, there's a radical difference within a 5-mile radius of those. I'm in South Florida. If you're in West Palm Beach versus Boca Raton or Fort Lauderdale or Miami, you're having a radical different clientele. So knowing your market, and if you are a CMO watching this podcast, go get hands-on. There's nothing more fun than getting out the office and seeing what your franchisees are bitching at you about in person.
It's so true. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, a franchisee who doesn't have some sort of feedback isn't a franchisee that's engaged in their business. So as a franchisor, we love to hear the good and the bad, and there is no good without the bad that started the good. So we're always open ears. And speaking of franchisees, but just in general, for anybody in business, whether you're in marketing or in any relationship, honestly, my last knowledge bomb is just about the time that you get sick of saying it, they're hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
Just about the time you get sick of saying it, they're hearing it for the first time. And what I really take away from this is you need to stick to the drum beat. You need to beat the drum over and over and over again. And once that rhythm starts, you can add in the electric guitar, right? Or the violin or the saxophone or whatever you're going to do to make up your band. But you have to continually reiterate the basics of whatever you are trying to communicate, whether you're talking to your husband who keeps throwing clothes on the floor or the franchisee who won't pay attention to the top line and is only trying to cut the bottom line. You have to continually repeat in different ways, forever and always, the basics of whatever you're trying to accomplish, because innovation is a scary trap. It's a good trap, but it's a scary one if you don't have the foundation set.
Hell yeah.
And that's what I got for you, friends. I hope it helps in whatever you decide to do or whatever you're currently doing. Thank you so much for having me, Carl. This was awesome.
Yeah, I'm super appreciative for your stories. They definitely shed light on some very important concepts. And to the last point that you said, there's reasons why we have multiple communication styles. And you
Mhm.
might feel heard, but something that I always do, my hack is to mirror somebody back. Because if I'm mirroring them back and they're like, no, 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 that is not what I wanted you to get across this, it's a great opportunity to say, okay, no problem, forget it, re-explain it to me in a different way or show me. We all learn so differently. So making sure that in incorporation, how your different teams are communicating, and you could do a disc profile, personality assessment, all these different things that are overspoken on this podcast. But, really getting to know who you're talking to and making sure that it's received. Otherwise, maybe you're not heard. Kristen, talk to me a little bit about how has your morning routine changed over the years in different roles? Now, not being I imagine in fitness, you were a little earlier than now being in the massage space. Talk to me a little bit about these transitions of your morning routine throughout your career.
Yeah, what's interesting is 50% of the time I'm in St. Louis, which is where MassageLuXe is based, and then 50% I'm here. I'm about every other week or so. But the routine really always maintains the same. And I was just talking to some friends about work-life integration, not work-life balance, but rather integration. And in my life, work is a lot of my fulfillment. That's how I'm happy. And my work enables me to get the happiness and the fulfillment that I need to be a better mom, to be a better wife, to be a better farmer. Did we talk about the fact that I raise cows in my free time? It gets me to a happy place. And so when I wake up, that's what I want to do is dive into work. And most of the time, I'm doing some self-reflection in the morning as I'm getting the kids out the door and getting ready and practicing mindfulness as I'm doing other activities. But the second that I can get in front of my computer, get caught up, or get to the office, I want to do that because my mind personally is best in the morning. And I want to put my best self forward where in my life I need to. And so I'm diving in right away. The personal side of my life starts at about 4 o'clock, and give or take, depends on the day, right? But that's the time where I've already exhausted my thinking brain and I'm ready to dive into whatever else the day holds for me. But starting with work for me first thing in the morning is the best thing that I can do for the business and for myself because it's going to make me happy the rest of the day.
That's awesome. Has it always been like that, or has that changed now in this position?
No, it's always been that way, whether it be, fitness, professional sports, or MassageLuXe. I know when I am on point, and that's the second that I wake up. And then throughout the day, I kind of get beaten down email by email or conversation by conversation. So by the time we hit the afternoon, I need to shut off.
Rightfully deserved. Hopefully, it's gotten lighter over time as
It
more
does.
SOPs get put into place. Kristen, my last question in regards to your title of Chief Growth Officer and really overseeing marketing on both fronts. Franchise sales, I would say we cover really well on this show. But as
Mhm.
far as location-based offers is always a challenge. So what is some light that you can share as far as selecting offers or best ways to test offers? And where do we even get this idea of an offer? Because everybody has that first introductory, significantly cheaper price, which doesn't necessarily lead towards a membership sale, which is why we're all in this game in the first place, is to have reoccurring revenue and not one-time purchases. So what has been your way of navigating through the wild sea of offers?
Yeah, so this is a journey that we've actually been on over the past 12 months at MassageLuXe because, the consistent brand marketer in me likes consistency across the franchise as it relates to offers. Of course, I want that $5 foot long type deal that you can get at every single MassageLuXe location, right? But in talking with our franchisees, especially the ones that have been open for 10 plus years, the markets have changed in those areas, and the awareness is much higher in those areas, and the spas are much busier. So doing the $5 foot long deal in a spa that's already super busy, that already knows who MassageLuXe is, may not be the right approach. And so I think it's a good reminder for those multi-location brands to not force a square peg into a round hole, right? As much as we want consistency, we also have to be accommodating of different markets, different franchisees, and different lifespans of business. And so while I'd love to say, here's the perfect token to how to choose a promotion, it, in my mind, needs to be something that is semi customized per location and per instance or scenario. So maybe that in your franchise looks like you get to choose between one of three options for this campaign. We'll create the creative, send you the marketing kit, run the advertising, whatever we're going to do to support you as we normally do, but allowing you this flexibility in order to take a look at what you need in your business and choose an offer according to those needs. Feels to me like the right approach, especially as we enter into even further weirdness and uncertainty with economy and political stuff and staffing. And I mean, every business needs something different based on where they are in their lifespan and in the market that they're in. And I think we need to accommodate that.
Awesome answer. I also, as I was asking this question, I thought about, most of the brands that are watching this show, and thank you to everybody that always supports this podcast. I'm so appreciative. Rely on your software partners. Referrizer has data over 11 years of health, wellness, and fitness businesses and millions of offer data. So whether it's Referrizer or any of your other data-driven organizations, like if you're with Club Ready, there's a connection for iKismet that gives you reporting like no other, but asking these people inside of these software companies to look at their data and help make a data-driven decision and not necessarily expose who the customer is, but just get an idea because they're bigger than you. You could be Smoothie King and Tropical Smoothie and still have no idea that there's 100 location smoothie place in Canada that has an offer that you've never seen or heard before that is absolutely crushing it. So leveraging those relationships, you're paying these software companies anyways. So asking a question, maybe once a quarter, what are the new offers that you're seeing in this space? And what suggestions do you and your team have for us to test can bring a whole new vision to you that you didn't have access to before. So I just thought about that and leverage the people that you're paying.
Yep. I love it.
Kristen, my last thing before we close on my final question is, are you a reader or a podcaster?
Podcaster. 1000%. Ain't nobody got time to pick up a book in my life. Let me tell you, I am on the run. So while I would love to cozy up next to a fire with a good book in hand, I don't have time for that. So it's audiobooks and podcasts for me right now.
Awesome. If there were a couple that you think that everyone that's listening should at least check out, what are they?
Okay, so I do a lot of franchise podcasts, right? But outside of that, a good one, a sneaky good one, is eMarketers Behind the Numbers. It's a daily podcast, quick 20 minutes. Here's what you need to know about digital marketing and the world of media, essentially. And then every Friday, if you don't have time for a daily, every Friday they do kind of a recap of the week. And it's one of those that I don't know that a lot of people talk about, but that is good along with amazing podcasts out there in our industry specifically.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Kristen, My last and final question, as always, if you were going to have dinner with a historical figure from the past, who would it be and what are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay. This is the best. Okay. So it's kind of nerdy, but I can't go back on it because it's a question that I answered forever ago as I was applying to college and trying to get my scholarships and all of that. And my university is St. Thomas University. So you guys might not know that's the largest private school in Minnesota. And the guy who started it, John Ireland, started it as an all boys school. Okay. So girls were not allowed at this university. And I'm not like I'm a feminist. Obviously I'm a woman, but I'm not like a rah, women hear me roar type of person. But I think it would be super interesting to sit down and have dinner with the founder of my previous university, because women rule the world there now, right? So coincidentally, the reason I answered this question this way, there are so many amazing people that I would love to sit down and have dinner with. But I wrote this essay as a senior in high school about how I would explain to him how the times have changed and how this university has changed and how beautiful it is now and all these things. And it actually won me a board of trustees scholarship to go to the business school there. And so I would stay true to what I said many years ago, in that I think it would be really neat to show him how far the university has come.
Congratulations on being the first person and 200 plus episodes on this show to ever want to sit down with somebody and tell them what's up instead of asking them a million questions. So virtual 5.
Oh my God, that's so embarrassing.
That's amazing. That's not embarrassing at all. That's incredible. I love the fact that you are so forward and listen, I'm going to sit down and show you how badass women have become. And you could have been at the forefront of that, but you decided to have an all boys school.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. All right. It was slightly embarrassing. Now I'm a little proud about my answer. Didn't even think about that.
We have a pretty plastic trophy coming your way from Local Business Hacks.
I love it.
That's awesome. Kristen, thank you so much. What's the best way for people to stay connected with you if they want to connect?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you'll see my name. It's a little tough to spell, but I always have a little bit of a cheer because when I married my husband, I was like, how do I spell this? So it's Pechacek. Find me on LinkedIn and I would be happy to connect with you.
Awesome. Kristen, thank you. Thank you, MassageLuXe. And thank you to my post-production team over at Referrizer for always supporting the show. We greatly appreciate it. And yeah, we can look forward to continuing your journey.
I love it. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. That's it for this week's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Be sure to head over to our site, local-business-hacks.com, to check out the show notes and send me questions or ideas for future episodes. If you want to grow your business, just like the people you've heard from here, follow Local Business Hacks Podcast and tune in for new tips, tricks, and tactics. Until next time, thanks for listening and keep hacking.